Hi everyone. Today we will be discussing about the French invasion in India. The French came to India in 1964, and the invasion was under Colbert, who is a minister of Louis XIV, and he came to India under French East India Company. And then later, in the year of 1673, they set up headquarters at Pondicherry, and Pondicherry became the nerve center of the French activities from then on. After these 2 points, the next point that we will have to study, the most importantly, is the Carnatic War. There are 3 Carnatic Wars, first, second and third. All these Carnatic Wars and the treaties involved in these wars, the date of war, all are important. So first we will see the causes of Carnatic Wars. Actually, there was a rivalry between English and French from the Europe itself, because they had so many things in common they wanted to acquire or they wanted to invade. So because of that, from the Europe itself, they had a lot of rivalry going on between these English and French companies. Okay, so as an extension of that rivalry, they had to go through 3 wars in India as well. So the main causes of the war is that they wanted to expand their commercial interest within India, and also to protect the expansions or commercial activities they had already built in India. So first one was to protect the whole things which they had made in India, and the second point was they wanted to expand more and more in India. So for that they need to block one another. So if French companies want to expand in India, definitely they will have to block the English company. If English company wanted to expand, they will automatically wanted to block French company. So that was another cause for the war. So this war actually happened between English and French, and there was 3 wars in different years, and all happened in the Carnatic area. That is why this war is known as Carnatic War. So the first Carnatic War happened in 1740 to 48. So you will have to remember the date. And first was between 1740 to 48, and second was between 1749 to 54. That was immediately after the first war. Then third was from 1758 to 63. So these are the time period of each war. So first war fought from 1740 to 48, second war was from 49 to 54, and third was from 1758 to 63. In the first Carnatic War, the important point we will have to remember is the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. I don't know the pronunciation actually. Anyway, I'll be writing the exact spelling of this treaty. Aix-la-Chapelle. Maybe this will be, sometime it will be a French word. So this is the treaty they have signed in the first war. So this war ended with this treaty. That is, the first Carnatic War ended with the signing of this treaty. Okay. So this we will have to remember because this is an important treaty. Next is the second war, which happened between 1749 to 54. Actually, this is an inconclusive war. There was no victory in this war. Actually, in the first war, by signing the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle, the Madras was handed back to the English by the French, and in turn, French got their territories in North America. So, this was the agreement under this particular treaty. So, they had a conclusion in the first war of or first Carnatic War of 1940 to 48. But in the second war, there was no conclusion. So, there is no treaty as well. So we will not have to remember anything here. So first we will have to remember that treaty's name. Second, there is nothing to remember other than this year of war. The third Carnatic War. Here we will have to remember the Treaty of Paris because this was a decisive war, and this is known for Battle of Vandivash. So the third Carnatic War was from 1758 to 63, and out of that, the Battle of Vandivash was particularly from 1762 to 61. Okay, so we will have to remember Battle of Vandivash is related to which Carnatic War and or which countries are involved in this Battle of Vandivash. So we will have to learn the Battle of Vandivash particularly. Okay, so under this or at the end of the war, they signed Treaty of Paris. Okay, so under this treaty, the French were allowed to use Indian settlements for commercial purpose only, and the French were not allowed to fortify their settlements. Okay, so they were banned from fortification of the settlements, and they were allowed to use Indian settlements for commercial purpose only. So this was the agreement they have signed under Treaty of Paris. So we will have to remember two treaties. One is Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle, that was in the first Carnatic War. Second is Treaty of Paris, that is in the third Carnatic War. Okay, so now we will see the important part, that is why the France failed in this Carnatic Wars. So after all these wars, first it was ended with a treaty, and they exchanged Madras and North American area. The second, there was nothing. Third, again the France almost defeated. So why the France got defeated in this third war? The main reasons are there was inadequate military and financial support for the France, whereas the England or the British people were getting enough amount of military as well as financial support. So they were super good in their military as well as financial terms, whereas the France was not at all getting any support from their authorities. So actually the France was involved in Europe, that is why they were getting less amount of military and financial support from their country. Then another point is that the policy of the imperial France was really very poor. So the policy failure was there on the part of France, whereas it was so good on the part of British. Then the lack of commercial incentive to the French company. So if they wanted to expand a commercial or expand to their ventures in the country, definitely they will have to be motivated. On the part of Britishers, they were given a lot of perks and emoluments when they are expanding their areas in the Indian area, whereas the France was not at all giving these kind of perks to its officials for their expansions. So they were lacking from incentives. So they had no interest in expansions, or they have no interest in fighting. They had no interest to fight with the company for the expansion activities. Okay, so because of the lack of incentives provided to French company, they had less interest in fighting against the British. Even though they fought against the company, English company, they had less incentives, so they are less motivated to motivated for a vigorous expansion like English were doing in India. Then English company had a sound commercial base, whereas French company was not having any financial support. So, and also commercial base was also not available for the French company in India. So these are the main drawback of the French, which led to the failure of France in these Carnatic War. And because of that, their almost expansionist tendencies were curtailed by the English company. They were only allowed to use Indian settlements for the commercial purpose, and the fortification of settlements also were banned with the Treaty of Paris at the end of the Third Carnatic War. So these are the important points that we will have to remember the French expansionist policies in India. When they came to India, that is in 1664 by Colbert, a minister of Louis XIV, and where they settled and which was the headquarters, it was Pondicherry. Then regarding the Anglo-French rivalry in India, how the first, second and third Carnatic War was happened, and which all are the treaties involved, and which all are the causes of French failures in all these wars, how it ended in India. So these all are the important points. That's all. Thank you.